Our top story this morning, at least 2 people are dead as Michael continues to work its way through the southeastern United States. Yesterday, the storm swept through Florida as a Category 4 hurricane, leaving behind widespread damage. CBS's Nicole Killian is in Panama Beach, Florida, where this live drone footage is from right now, with a first look at the devastation.
Michael barreled through the Florida Panhandle yesterday as one of the most powerful storms to hit the U.S. in decades.
You see what it did around here? It snapped trees like they were toothpicks.
155-mile-per-hour winds toppled trees. Some sliced through homes.
It just came flying through the roof. I heard all the trees snapping and everything. It sounded like a tornado.
The storm ripped apart this Panama City school and turned other buildings into rubble. Residents walked through streets covered in downed power lines.
Michael made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane, knocking out power to nearly 500,000 people. Utility companies are warning they may stay without power for days, if not weeks.
You live on the coast, this is what you get. So it's just a matter of picking up the pieces and putting it back together, get our lives back together.
Debris covered some cars, others were flipped over. One piece of wood smashed right through a front windshield.
You need to be ready to evacuate.
Michael weakened as it reached Georgia, but it's now taking aim at the Carolinas and Virginia, still cleaning up from Hurricane Florence.
We got the sandbags for the storm earlier last month, Florence, and then we've kept them here at the salon. Be prepared for any upcoming storms for the rest of the season.
One early estimate put the initial cost of the storm damage at over $10 billion. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Panama City Beach, Florida.
Also in this morning's headlines, police have arrested the operator of the limo company involved in last weekend's deadly crash in upstate New York. Numan Hussain was freed on bail after pleading not guilty to a charge of criminally negligent homicide. Investigators say Hussain allowed an unsafe vehicle to be used by a man who wasn't licensed to drive it. Wall Street is bracing for another rocky day after a major sell-off saw the Dow fall 832 points on Wednesday. That represented a loss of more than 3%. The Nasdaq and S&P 500 saw similar declines, with tech stocks the biggest losers.
For the last few years, we've had almost unusually low market volatility, so it's been kind of smooth sailing for a lot of investors. And this year, what you've seen is volatility has picked up, so stocks are moving around a lot more than they were the last few years. But in reality, we expect these kinds of swings. We're actually returning to more normal levels of volatility. If you look historically, we see drops like this happen pretty frequently, and it's not really outside of the norm.
Some analysts point out, however, stocks are sliding sharply because investors are worried about rising interest rates. In other news, the Billings City Council names its top choice for city administrator. Chris Kukulski, shown here answering questions with other finalists Tuesday night, was the unanimous choice. He also happens to be the only Montana resident on the docket. Kukulski was the city administrator in Bozeman from 2004 to 2017, and before that, Kalispell. Currently, he's an executive vice president for business development at Zoot Enterprises in Bozeman.
He has a lot of relationships that are built here, that he's been here so long, with legislators, local people here, as well as in Bozeman. There's going to definitely be a learning curve that he's going to have to adhere to, but I think a lot of the similarities to Bozeman that we have here should help him on the plus side of things to get him started moving on this community.
City council members tell us the plan is to get to work with Kukulski on a contract right away. His start date is to be determined during the negotiations. Last December, when the council first tried to hire a new city administrator, the city's top choice turned down the job after negotiations broke down over salary and benefits. Elsewhere, the president of the Northern Cheyenne Tribe will leave his post tomorrow. L. Jace Kilsback announced his resignation in a letter on Tuesday. In his letter, Kilsback says months of conflict with the tribe's legislative branch led to his decision. Last October, Kilsback was removed as president by the Northern Cheyenne Tribal Council after a year on the job. However, in a special election this January, Kilsback won his seat back. Killsback's full resignation letter can be found on our website, KTVQ.com. There's no word from the tribe so far on who might replace Killsback. On the campaign trail, do you have an opinion about the upcoming election? Well, you may get to voice it if you pick up the phone, and on the other end is an MSU Billings political science student. That's because the Montana poll is back again this year. A team of MSUB students from Dr. Jason Atkins' media public opinion class will be calling voters this week to gauge public opinion. They will be asking about Montana's Senate and U.S. House races, in addition to the 4 ballot initiatives on this year's ballot.
That's the case with polls, is that we're trying to measure public opinion at this point in time. Now, who knows how public opinion may change in the next few weeks before the election, but we'll at least get a good gauge right now what Montanans are thinking.
The results will be unveiled October 23rd, less than 2 weeks before the November 6th election. The Montana poll has been going on for 31 years. If you're curious if you're on the phone list, the class purchased a database with randomly identified households to call. Well, it doesn't look like Glacier National Park will be breaking any attendance records this year, ending the park's streak of setting multiple visitor records. At times this year, tourist numbers were outpacing the 2017 numbers. And with closures at Lake McDonald Lodge and going to the Sun Road during wildfire season, traffic through the west entrance was still up nearly 20%. But despite a second consecutive bad fire season, the park's September numbers were strong. 434,000 people entered the park, well above the September 2017 numbers. Heading into the final quarter, visits total 2.8 million people. Early season snow is already closing, going to the Sun Road and other areas. The Ruby Valley Strategic Alliance, ranchers and conservationists together play an important role in protecting public lands. The Alliance recently held a public tour near Twin Bridges to share how agriculture and conservation go hand in hand. The Montana Ag Network's Lane Nordland takes us along.
10 years ago, these groups would not have been talking with ranchers. The fact that they're not only talking with the ranchers, but we are actively looking for ways to work together makes me feel like all the time we've put into this effort is very worthwhile.
The Alliance believes in the importance of understanding each other's perspectives and values and finding common ground to meet end goals.
The first thing I would say to someone is you don't know what you don't know. So I came into this work listening to the ranchers. I wanted to know and understand from them what the reality's like, what their operations are like, what are the challenges that they face, how do they overcome those challenges, and what ways can we work with them to help them meet those challenges. I'm able to take that information back to my organization, to our membership, and share that so that we can kind of dispel and eliminate that message of public ranching is a bad thing, that there's welfare ranching. Like, that's not the reality out here. And so I'm helping to get that message out, and the ranchers are helping us at the same time maintain conservation gains out here.
Wildlife conservation is dependent on open spaces, which include both private and public lands. And if you don't have both pieces because of the seasonality of animal use of these lands, then we won't have the animal herds we have. And so for us to be successful in conserving Montana's wildlife resources, we need private land partners and public land partners to be able to achieve that.
Well, in our valley, the vast majority of the open space are tied directly to federal grazing leases. If those ranches lose those federal grazing privileges, the lands on the valley floor will likely not be a viable operation, and many of them will be either sold to out-of-state people for a place to vacation that will be locked up. The locals won't hunt, they won't fish, or they could possibly be subdivided. With the open space comes the wildlife corridors, the amazing wildlife habitat, and the huge wildlife populations that we all enjoy today.
By creating dialogue and having open minds, different groups are coming together to make sure that agriculture and land is conserved for generations to come. Reporting in Montana's Ruby Valley, I'm Lane Nordland, MTN News.